Hey, everybody, welcome back for day 48 of 100 Days of Halloween. I hope you are well and enjoyed your weekend. Here we are starting a new week, and oh, yeah, Mondays. And it is a Monday for sure. Anyhow, what am I doing for 100 Days of Halloween? Well, my lovely friend and yarny sis, Ranee, over at the Woolly Llama Shop, had a brilliant idea of doing a blanket for the 100 Days of Halloween. And rather than a huge blanket undertaking that would continue to grow because it is very hot in the South still, her idea was to do it in small bite sized pieces or 6 inch by 6 inch granny squares that either have a fun theme motif already crocheted into it, or adding appliques or fun fall Halloween themed colors, etc. And I was all for it. Have been wanting to make a blanket, just haven't had a chance for Halloween. And so doing it for the 100 Days of Halloween, I was on board and said, yes, let's do this. And so I joined in solidarity, and so did some other yarny friends and sisters. Nova over at Nova Gnome Creations and Patricia over at the Yarny Cat Crochet. And they are not making blankets, they are making other projects. I have them linked. You can go check them out if you have not already. And doing these squares, Rainey is more structured. She has this list that she has compiled of all different kinds of squares and appliques, and she is drawing at random from her little Jinx jack-o'-lantern of joy. And every day she is providing you with a new free one, except for on Saturdays and Sundays. She draws two additional on Fridays because of her work schedule. And that way, if you want to work on the squares, you can. If not, you can follow along and watch. And she's having a lot of fun with it. And she's had to pivot a couple times on some things, but hey, we are who we are when we create and crochet, right? We learn to pivot a lot. And myself, I am not that structured. I am throwing caution to the wind and doing whatever strikes me creative wise. And the only change we've made is because I had enough squares to fulfill the blanket, and that needed some love and some appliques, etc., put on them if they weren't already designed. And we are drawing them at random, and you guys are guessing what's going to go on those squares. And so that's what we are doing. And we have completed days 1 through 10, 11 through 20, 21 through 30, and 31 through 40. And now we are working on 41 through 50, and we are almost at 50 because today is day 48. So I am putting in my description box whatever group of 10 we are working on. I'm keeping a running list. If you see a square that has either a tutorial or a written pattern on a blog, the information is in there so you can go find it if you want to make it, even if it's not now, maybe at a later date. And I'm doing a lot of freehanding too, so I'm also putting that in there just in case, because there won't be a tutorial or a written pattern for those unless I go back at some point later on after all this is over and try and figure them out. So there's that. So days 41 through 48 today, what squares have we done? And we haven't done a video recap short yet. We will wait until we hit 50 like we have the other ones. So day 41, we drew at random the Sirdar square spiral. It is from the Sirdar Halloween blanket crochet along that has since ended. And but the information for the tutorials and all that is still at sirdar.com, so it is linked in the description box. Then for the next day, day 42, we drew out this bright, deeper orange square. And I was inspired by a lot of guesses you guys had been putting on some of the videos. And so I got haunted house stuck in my head. And so I freehanded a haunted house with just some squares, triangles, circles, and then a little wiggly ghost. And that was day 42. Then for day 43, we drew out at random one of these Red Heart Super Saver jumbo stripes in the neons. And I tried to add an applique. I had several already made up, and everything would get lost in the colors or it would take away from the colors. So at this point, we've decided to leave it blank unless I just happen upon something that I know would be perfect and live on here, and it wouldn't take away from either the applique or the block. So there's day 43. Day 44, we drew out a hot pinkish fuchsia sparkly square, and we decided we were going to draw some of the guesses because I've been writing a lot of the guesses down and putting them in this little spells and curses jar. And so we decided we were going to draw one out at random to go on the random square and see if we could get it done. And we did. It was an undertaking, but we got her there. And so it is a mummy that is trick or treating with his little pumpkin bucket. So there was day 44. And then for day 45, we drew out one of the squares made out of the Red Heart Super Saver jumbo stripes in brights that I'm using for putting my squares together, the join. And it was perfect because it had a very dark center. And even though it was two colors, like black and like a midnight purple, I thought it looked perfect for this little ghosty with a little pink sparkly bow that is the same yarn from this sparkly square. So there was that one. So then for day 46, we drew at random again. And somehow or another, even though we've been shaking the crap and mixing this box up, we got a sister square that was started after this square ended, but I did it in C2C. And with the way the colors were flowing, I really struggled to find anything that wouldn't take away from it or the applique yet again. And so I just left it blank for the time being. And there was day 46. So for day 47 square that we drew at random, we drew this green right here. And this is what I did yesterday. um, and it was screaming at me what it wanted to be. And so I sat down and I dug through the internet and I came up with a pattern, but it was for a coaster. And so we did the sunflower coaster, but it's an applique to us today. And we put it on that green square, and I think it is so pretty. It sets it off. This reminds me of when I lived out in Kansas. We owned a home in Bird City, this little bitty burg that had nothing there. And they had a little sunflower festival because, if I remember correctly, and it still might be, Kansas is the sunflower growing capital. Um, Not sure if it still stands that way, but it was back then. And whenever they came out and were getting everything ready for that festival, they always had these green backgrounds on these little lapel pins that were sunflowers for people to get when they went. And the residents got them in their mailbox. So um, we went with that. And since it was a coaster, it also, there is a pattern that is linked with it from the designer. You can make a sunflower basket to put the coasters in, or little trinkets or candies or whatever. And so at some point, I think I'm going to make the coasters and the basket. I think it is a super cute fall theme, and I love sunflowers anyway. It is my favorite flower. I even have little fake sunflowers in my pencil holder on my desk. So, and I have them in my kitchen. So there was day 47. So for day 48 square, we drew this like right here. It kind of looked like candy corn. And I cannot remember. I know it's a big twist yarn, and I should have looked at the label. Um, it's a really floppy skein. There's not much of it left in my bin, and it's still got the label on what's left of it. I think it's like sunset, maybe, or I don't know. Um, and because it was so bright and cheerful, I was pondering a lot of different appliques that it did have a sunset vibe going on and all that. But I wanted something fun that I hadn't done yet. And we're going to look, I didn't forget today. We're going to look and see what you guys guessed. And I already pulled it up, so it was ready to go. That way I wouldn't forget. So Patricia says, I guess a couple of candy corns with bat wings flying around. And I thought of that, but because of the colors on the square, you couldn't barely see the candy corns. They just kind of got lost in it. Because well, I was thinking candy corns because it's candy corn colored, but not the bat wings. So that we may see that one later. Um, Candy corns trick or treating. How about that? And then Ranee over at the Woolly Llama shop said, wow, the block reminds me of a sunset. Your blanket is spectacular. It reminded me of a sunset too. And I did have one thing in mind, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But then something got stuck in my head, and that was what I went with. Um, Debbie Van Rensburg said a naked tree with twisted branches. Yes. Elisa says, hi, Missy. Uh, Amy at Hooked on Wishing says, greeting you with hey, Missy seems so strange now that if you know, you know. Oh, yeah. From the live that Laura at Mad Mimi's Crochet and Farming and Ellen over at Ellen's Crochet did a live for their Cake Off 2025 on Saturday. And my name came out, my real name. Missy is just a nickname. And that's why she said, if you know, you know. Um, and yes, Amy, but that's okay. That's okay. Um, she said, awesome sneak peek. It's really coming together quickly now. Sam said, cute sunflower. For the next square, I'm guessing a scarecrow again, but this time in a sunset field. Donna Huskinson said, hey, Missy, happy Sunday. I will guess an evil eye again or a spellbook with a potion peeker. And Patricia said, love the Bucky's t-shirt because I had on a Bucky's. And thank you. I liked it too. It was purple and it's got Bucky on it. I think your last square is so pretty as is. Love the sunflower square. You guys rock getting all these squares done. I just made a scarf to match my purse. And I saw that video and I will try and remember to link your second project in the description box because it was awesome. Just like the first one. So nobody got it. Not even close. But you guys who were talking about the twisted trees were very close to my first thought, and that was what I was going to work with. But I was getting a little frustrated trying to freehand a twisted tree. So I nixed it for the time being. For the time being, I'm still going to complete it at a later date, and it will go on another square. And I started playing around with something I hadn't been doing before, letters, because a bunch of you previous videos had been using a specific word you wanted to see. And I can't remember everybody's names. So I was playing with the letters and I tried to get them as small as I could. But we went with this fun boo. So I did a B, an O, and an O in this hot pink and purple and green. I was going to do an orange, but it got lost yet again. I guess I could have done a yellow, but I like the colors. So we did boo. There we go. That's day 48. So let's go ahead and draw our random square for day 49 and see what we're going to get. And hopefully it'll be a different color too. Shake them up real good and let's grab. Oh, we had strings on it. So, oh, we've got this. It's been, I can't remember if we did one in the last 10-day go round or not, but we've got another one that kind of looks like a moon in the middle. So, yeah, put your guesses in the comment section as to what you think I'm going to put on there. And yeah, and then we'll check back tomorrow and see what we did for day 49 square, guys. Um I know this is a little shorter. I've got some things I got to take care of. I've got kittens in my motor again. So yeah. Uh we still have 3 kittens remaining. The itty bitty is sticking to the porch. Um and the other 2, I don't know why they chose to. My car apparently is too close to the house yet again. Um I didn't park it. It wasn't me. It was from when we came home Saturday night. Um, I won't go into that, but yes. So Brian is up, and so I'm going to let you guys go, and I will talk to you later because I have some videos to record for some yarn hauls. So love you bunches. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.